This is a video by Richmond. Today we're working on a Dodge Dakota. This happens to be a 2003 model. And what we're having a problem is the vehicle is not starting. We have no check engine light. So we're going to go in there, find out why this truck is not starting. First thing I'm going to do is check for spark. Now I've got a new spark plug wire here. I'm going to take my calibrated ignition tester, put that in there, and then the ignition coil is right down here. I'm going to remove the wire from it and plug my tester into the coil. Now this is a good ground right here, and we're going to check for spark from the tester. As you can see, there was no spark present. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to check for voltage at the ignition coil. Here is the connector from the coil, right down here. This gray piece right here. Okay. We're going to get that wire up here so we can test it. There we go. You see that wire right there to the right? It's green with a red stripe on it. That is the voltage wire we're going to check. So we're going to put our test light on that one right there and turn the key on and look for voltage at that connector. Now the test light is clipped into that green wire right here, and the other end of the tester is connected to a ground. So now we're going to crank the engine over and we should see that test light light. Okay, so you saw that the test light lit, so there's no problem there. The next thing we're going to do is to check the trigger wire from the computer, which is the black with white stripe wire right beside of it. And we want to see it pulsate, which would mean that we're getting a good signal from our cam and crank sensor. So I'm going to put an LED test light on that black wire now. Next thing we need to do is to back probe the black and white wire with a paper clip. We don't want to damage that seal. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to plug that back in and hook our LED test light to that wire. Alright, let's plug the connection back into the coil. Now I'm going to hook up my test light. Here is our test light right here with this red wire connected to the paper clip that's back probed to the black wire of the coil. And if we come up here, we will see the other end of the test light is to a ground. And here is our LED test light. So now we're going to crank it over and see what happens. Okay, as you saw, the test light did flash, indicating that the cam and crank sensor were sending information to the computer, so therefore it has to be our ignition coil. So we're going to replace that now. Now to remove the coil, we have two 10mm headed bolts right here. You can see this one there and the other one is further down there, which you can't see. So we need to remove those bolts now. And then we'll switch over our new coil and try it out. Okay, now we're going to try to start it up. Hey! Alright! That was it! Coil was shot. Lucky it was only one. So that's all there is to diagnosing a no-start problem on your Dodge Dakota.